So, cool. Thanks for coming to our room. My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we talked about a bunch of topics, and I think we landed on this one about gender role expectations. What was that again? What was the claim? That what was it?
With that claim, I feel like I was saying, how as of now people are seeing males and females as males being able to do one thing, females being able to do another. But then nowadays, obviously, we see people, like, let's say as transgender people, they're, obviously male becoming female, female becoming male. And then nowadays, I feel like people are wanting to do more. And I feel like later on in life that for the expectations between the both, that's going to start evening out between, and that males and females are going to be able to do more. One more. That makes sense.
Okay, so nowadays there are like transgender people transitioning between male and female, although at the same time, male and female are kind of expanding what they are expected to do in society. So with all of this happening, it's really just going to eventually be kind of a wash. Males and females are men and women. There's not going to be too much expectations on really anybody to be a certain way. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. How confident, like, let's try to put a date on it. When do you think that would happen?
I don't feel like anytime soon, but I feel like not in the near future, but I feel like in a couple of years that it could happen.
What's the most conservative estimate, like 2030, 2050?
I say between like 2030.
Between now and 2030?
Yes.
Okay, we'll say by like 2030, most gender role expectations in like everywhere in the world, or just like modern countries, or developed countries. Well,
I feel more modern as of now.
So I'd say like, okay, most modern countries by 2030, gender role expectations will be equal for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. How confident are you about that on, say, a scale from 0 to 100? That'll happen. If 100 is absolutely confident that'll happen, 50-50, not sure, 0 is absolutely not sure.
As of now, I feel more towards 40, 50, between 40 and 50.
Between 40 and 50.
Seeing how things are as of right now, there's people that are still they're not as accepting as it to it, but there's a lot more people that are becoming more acceptable to it. So I feel as of now, it's still kind of lower on the scale, but as years go on, I feel like people are going to be more open to the idea of it.
Yeah, so you're around 40 to 50 now. What would need to happen for you to raise your confidence? Like the more closer we get to 2030, say like 2025, how would society need to be different to raise our confidence about it?
Just by actually being able to see changes happen. Just being able to see how people can be more open about it as well.
Cool.
Then once I start seeing more people being able to be more open about it, being more fine about it, then I feel like by then it would be a lot easier.
What would be the best way to tell that is actually the case that's going on, people being more open about it?
Not what I gotta think of. Sorry.
Any kind of like metric or criteria people doing studies could tell, like we could use? What would be the best metric?
I mean, studies could definitely help. Seeing an increase on number of people that are becoming more open to it, becoming more open to the idea of it, that could definitely help.
What would be the best way to study that question? The openness of people to being, I guess, what were we saying? Like being open to changing who they are to kind of conform to whatever role they want it to be in society? How could we study
And
that?
you're asking,
Yeah, how could we
what
study
would,
that the best way?
well, for that as of now, I kind of don't know. Because, I mean, there's always different ways of doing things, but that one I don't have a clear answer on.
Okay. Let's also use another scale to kind of try to get some perspective. If like a 10 is like perfectly open society in terms of gender roles, there's really no expectations for anybody to conform to any type of gender role. 0 is like men and women have very specific rigid gender roles and are punished if they go out of those things. A 5 is like a pretty open society. There are some gender roles that people are expected to follow, but it's not a big deal if they don't follow it. Where would we be right now on that scale, you think?
I feel like between, because, I mean, if someone doesn't want to follow something, I feel like that they shouldn't have to. But then it being okay for, if, yeah, like I'm saying, if they don't feel like they don't want to have to follow it, I feel like they shouldn't have to follow it. And then, but it would be nicer for for people to also be open about it in a way. If that makes any sense.
So today in the U.S., what number do you think would be the best number for the U.S. right now?
Oh, for the yes right now?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Because, I mean, nowadays I feel like people are now becoming more open to it because as of, obviously, we've seen in the past, they weren't open to it at all. And how before it was, people were hated because of it, people were mistreated. But, I mean, as of now, a lot more people have become open to the idea of it and have become more acceptable
Would it be
to people.
above or below 5, you think, right now?
Right now,
Or 5?
I feel like 6
A
for
6?
now.
A 6 right now?
A 6.
And you're saying by 2030 we'll be like at a 10 or near a 10?
Hopefully near.
Hopefully.
I wouldn't say exactly 10, but I'd say near.
Where were we in like 1900?
Like a 1.
A 1. Okay, so we've made some progress. Just a little bit left to go, I guess. Maybe kind of switching the topic, but kind of related. Should it be a 10? Should there be no gender roles in society? Gender role expectations?
I don't think we'll ever get to a perfect 10 on it. I feel like...
Is that a
I
number
feel like if it's
we
at
should
least
aspire to, even as a goal? Should that be a goal to go towards? Or is there a benefit to having gender role expectations, or is it all not beneficial?
I mean, it'll be beneficial, but I feel like as of now we shouldn't set the goal so high. As of now we should focus more on the reality of it.
We should focus right more now to opening it up more. We want it at least a little bit more open. Maybe not all the way, but at least more.
A little bit more, at least.
A little bit more. Alrighty. Okay. And why do you believe it will be pretty much close to a 10 by 2030? What's the main reason why?
Like I was saying, like now we see a lot more people more open to the idea of it, and a lot more people just more open with their thoughts and the way they see things. It's
more people being open to it. How do we know they are more open to it?
Just the way that we see things now. Things are, I mean, obviously not everyone is going to be fond of the idea of it, but like I was saying before, obviously there wasn't as many people that were open to the idea of it. People just hated it. They didn't think too much of it. They're like, oh, they didn't put any thought into it. They just hated it just because everyone else did. But nowadays, people are more open to the idea of it because they know people that are fine with it, and then they have people to talk about it with, which helps them learn more about the idea, become more open to it.
What's the best example of some people being more open to the idea of it? Where do we find that information?
Or where do we find that information?
Yeah. Do you see that personally in your life, in like real life or online mainly? Where do we see
I feel
that?
more online as of now. I feel more online, and I mean, kind of has its benefits of it being online as well, but it's opposites, if that makes sense.
Where online do you see that mainly? On social media or somewhere else?
Mainly social media.
What's the best example of you seeing that happen?
Just different people, if I'm being honest. Just being able to see how with the different people, like not really knowing them themselves, but just being able to see how people are more happy with themselves and how they are more open with themselves and how they're allowing themselves to be open on social media for everyone else to see.
Are
And
these
how
like?
it's like,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Are these like personal friends of yours on Facebook, or random people on Twitter, or strangers on Reddit?
All actually. There's people that I know that are open to the idea of it. There's just people that I don't know. There's pretty much anyone.
You're just seeing it pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So you're currently around where for your confidence that these gender role expectations will not be expected of mostly everyone by 2030? You said like 40 to 50. Is that right?
As of now, yeah.
Okay. Hypothetically, what would you need to see to lower your confidence that that's going to be the case? Something you don't know
To
now.
lower it?
Yeah, something you don't know now. What would you need to see to lower your confidence?
To lower it, I feel like if I only saw people hating on the idea of it, and if people were just bringing others down for it, then personally, I wouldn't let that affect me. I feel like that would be dumb. But if I see like there's no progress or if there's no progress in it, and that people are just being negative about it, then I feel like that it wouldn't really get anywhere with it.
If more people just started hitting on the idea of it, and you started to see that happening more, what hypothetically could we see? Like, what is the most specific hypothetical we could see? What specific gender norm, who and where, like just hypothetically, that would cause someone to lower their confidence about it? What would be a good example?
And you're saying more for specific?
Yeah, can we think of a very specific hypothetical that would cause us to lower our confidence?
Mm,
As specific as possible.
I feel like for that, it would mainly be. Let's use social media as an example again. I feel like if people are on social media, I feel like now people are letting social media affect how they see things. I mean, people say don't listen to social media. I mean, don't look into social media as much because I mean everything on social media isn't true. But there's also people that I feel like they see social media and they believe everything that they see is true. So with those people, I feel like if they see only the negative things of it and that they feel like that it's only like that, they're gonna start believing that more, and they'll be more acceptable to the idea of it being a negative thing and of it being more of something that they shouldn't allow themselves to accept, if that makes sense.
Okay. Can we get more specific? Like, if someone did this and then someone else said something else about something they did, let's try to fill in the blanks here. What could specifically happen? What would be the best example?
That was kind of hard to think of. For being like really specific, I feel. that one's a bit more harder to think of.
Hard to think of a specific one. Cool. Cool. Maybe we can leave it there. And me and Addison try to be here on, maybe not every night, but a lot of nights around this time. And feel free to keep thinking about it. And if you see us again, feel free to come back and we can continue this chat or talk about something else.
All right. This was actually really interesting.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And what was the YouTube that you were talking about? I'd actually like to look into that.
My YouTube channel is Cordial Curiosity. Can you put it up on the screen, Madison? This is a new thing for me. I don't have a ability to do the screen.
No.
And we're also on the SE Street Epistemology Discord as well.
Okay.
You can come there and chat with a bunch of people about really anything you want. There you go.
I'll definitely check this out.
Okay.
This was actually really interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, it's not so much about what we're talking about, but how we're talking about it, the way we're having the conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cordial. Yes. All right. Well.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
I'll definitely check it out.
Sure.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. I'll be going now.
See you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.